Well, ended. Good evening, guys. Good evening, how is everyone? I hope you're all doing well. Thank you very much for joining me again for another Liverpool stream where we're going to be talking about Luis Diaz and some other Liverpool topics. And I've got my man Cal with me for a little bit. Cal, how you doing?
Big up, bro. Pleasure.
Show. Guys,
I'll be honest. I've shamelessly come here to see how you're going to try. And
I'm going to get my I'm going to get it out. So obviously, breaking tonight, we've seen the exciting news that Ten Hag will be staying at Man United for the future. I've actually got video footage of Ten Hag's first pre-season training. Does everyone want to see it? So this is Ten Hag and his first pre-season training.
Noah! Larry, what the hell are you doing?
Larry!
Larry, you can't just... Oh,
Larry! Oh, are you all right? How did you...
Larry! Righto. What's going on here?
Oh, sir, I'm arrested. Oh!
Yeah, so that was Ten Hag. Slapping all the Man United players back down to earth because they all thought he was leaving. Big up Ineos. Ineos are great owners, man. Big up Ineos.
Fantastic.
Can't beat them, guys. Cannot beat them. But yes, we're here to talk about Liverpool and everything Liverpool. We're here to talk about the news of one Luis Diaz, the Colombian superstar, the superhero to many. The Colombian fraudster. I don't know what else we call. Looks like he's staying at Liverpool Football Club, guys. Now, I don't know if everyone believes the articles that we're reading at the moment, but Luis Diaz says he's happy at Liverpool. Liverpool have said it would take a massive bit of business for him to leave, around a 70-75 million deal. Guys, my thoughts on Luis Diaz. I just think he flatters to deceive too much. I think the kidnappers took the wrong person. I don't know. I'm not feeling it, Cal. I ain't gonna lie. Look, I think Liverpool are playing their cards quite close to their chest, and if they said they're willing to let Diaz go, you get small offers for him. That's the only thing I'm thinking here. What do you reckon, man?
I think two things can be right at the same time. I think Luis Diaz is happy at Liverpool, and I think he would stay at Liverpool. But I also think his dreams to play for Barcelona, and I think he wants to go Barcelona. I think it's just whether or not Barcelona decide to go in and make a bid for Luis Diaz. If Barcelona make a bid that Liverpool are happy with, Diaz accepts straight away. And I have no issue with that. I always believe in players, and I just believe in people in general trying to achieve their dreams, so long as you don't, go about it in an immoral way or in a cheating way. I believe everyone should be allowed the chance to achieve and to realize their dreams. And his dream is to play for Barcelona. It's just whether Barcelona can satisfy the price tag that we want, which, if I'm led to believe from reports, is 70 million above. I think if Barcelona really want to, they can find the money. I think Luis Diaz is someone we can replace. I think it would suit everyone. However, if he does stay, I'm not going to be downtrodden about it, but I will have to question where the upgrade is, because I do think that forward line needs upgrading. And in order to upgrade, someone's got to go. I thought Diaz would have been the easiest one to go because he wants to leave. But if he's staying, one of the four has to go. One of Jota, Nunez, Diaz, or Gakpo has to go. And we have to bring in my opinion, at least one forward.
Yeah, and look, I've not been Diaz's biggest fan. I know a lot of people really like him, enjoy him. Think he deserves another crack at it because of injuries, what happened to his dad, and I get it. I just look at the player and think he's 27 now. Is Luis Diaz go to get better? And that's what I'm looking at. Is he going to improve as a footballer, or what we saw last season, is that the Luis Diaz we get every season now? If that's the case, I don't know if that's good enough. But the counter argument this, and my other point about Luis Diaz, is that was in a Jurgen Klopp team, and we're going into an Arne Slot team where he asks his wingers to do a different job pretty much to what, Klopp wants his forwards to do. Now, we spoke about this last night on Monster's channel about maybe Luis Diaz playing right wing. Arne Slot likes his forwards going past players on the outside, crossing the ball in, keeping the possession as wide as possible as well to, keep the ball further upfield and make more spaces for midfielders and forwards to run into, opening up the game a lot wider. So he likes these wingers to use a bit more width for the pitch, a bit like the way City do it, make the pitch really big, play all over the final third, keep the team pressed in, keep fullbacks pressed back. For me, if Luis Diaz is going to stay at Liverpool, I think Arne Slot might be looking at a right wing situation from him and obviously we know Mo Salah plays there, where Mo Salah might go into the 10 or even the number 9 role. He's playing the 10 for Egypt right now, and he's cooking when in that position. He played the 10 a little bit for Roma, not so much for Liverpool, but recently we've seen how creative Salah is as a footballer now. Do you reckon that is what could happen? I think players might be changed or used differently this coming season than they have in previous years, and that might be Luis Diaz as well.
I think the players will definitely be used differently. I don't like the idea of Diaz on the right wing. It doesn't move me.
I hear that.
To quote you, Jay, if Diaz were to go, I think someone who didn't have a great season last season could play on the left wing for us, and that is Szoboszlai.
He's more natural position.
Yeah, I think that could work. And you'd have him and Cody Gakpo, and then if that doesn't work, then next season you address that side. I think I know I dropped a bombshell on copies yesterday saying that I'd kind of not sell Nunez now simply because there's so much for us to do. Yeah, if I knew Liverpool would go and get 5 or 6 or 7 players in one window, then I would sell Nunez, but we're not going to do that. So I'd keep Nunez, and I think we have to go and get a right winger, especially if Salah's going to move into a 10, because you can't rely on just shoehorning someone on the right-hand side. We've seen it so much last season. It just doesn't work. Go and get a specialist. That way, Salah can play in a 10. Salah can still play right wing some games as well. You've got Elliott there who can play as a 10. You've got Gravenberch who could play as a 10 as well. We've got numbers there. For me, go and get a right winger and then see if any of the forward line improves. So for me, you can sell Diaz and not have to replace him like for like, but you have to get a forward in. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I look at Diaz as well, and I think if the value of what he is what Liverpool are asking for, between that £70 million mark, are Liverpool going to get that next year or the year after?
No.
As he gets older, probably not. So if I look at Diaz right now, is he the most obvious forward we can let go of and make good money on? In my opinion, yes, because I think
it's Darwin, to be fair.
Darwin as well, but I think, as you said, with Darwin as well, I just think Liverpool as a club at this moment have a lot of money tied up in Darwin, and I think that's why they go give it a third year. And if it don't work, it'll leave on the 4th year. Because if it don't work after 3 years, I think even the biggest Darwin fans would have to hold their hands up and just go, right, it's just,
you'd be surprised.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen on the 4th or 5th year, is it? How long can we keep going until he has no market value left? This is the thing about football, especially the way the world is now in football. When you were saying earlier about 6 or 7 transfers in, I don't know if we're ever going to see that again, any team in the Premier League right now. Getting big numbers in, unless they're like free transfers or really low transfer value, or kids or youth players like that counts as transfers coming through the door. Especially the way PCR and FFP and all this is going at the moment. I think teams are quite afraid of it all. Yeah. So I look at it and think, is Luis Diaz the perfect? Is is it an opportunity for him to go? Because say we keep Salah on the right and Slot's looking at it thinking, no, I'm just going to keep him where he plays all his whole career, mostly, and what he's done at Liverpool, he's never changed. He can still do things for me in that position.
Pause.
So then you're looking at Luis Diaz on the left, who cuts inside. Big pause, yeah, big pause. And then Luis Diaz, who cuts in on the left-hand side. I don't think Slot is going to have two wingers that cut inside. With the way he likes to play. Unless
the reason why I think he will is because
I've got better players at Liverpool.
I think he will because I think we'll have overlapping fullbacks.
Yeah,
it didn't work last season because our fullbacks rarely overlapped, especially on the right hand side.
Which I want because that means Salah's more narrow, and you get him in more dangerous positions, which benefits him. But if you're doing that, do you want Luis Diaz in that position, or would you rather have Cody Gakpo? For me, who's a better goal scorer.
So this is a conundrum. Gakpo is a better goal scorer. I just don't trust Gakpo either, though.
I understand it, but if you're playing narrow, if you're having overlapping fullbacks and you're playing a little bit more narrow, I think I trust Cody.
I don't trust him.
I know what you're saying, but I trust Cody more in front of goal than I do Luis.
No, I agree with, but I don't trust Cody over the course of a season. I think Cody goes through purple patches, and I think Cody plays well when there's very little pressure on. The problem, it's actually like clockwork. It's actually scary, isn't it? But I hate to say it, I look at Cody, Diaz, and Nunez, and I think brilliant squad players if we had real talent in front of them. For me, none of those three are or should be the main starters for Liverpool.
Yeah, look, I think with the news that Liverpool apparently looking for a forward, there's news from the Athletic tonight, been running that Liverpool are definitely looking for a forward. I don't think we're going to have six. I just don't see us having six forwards, and I just don't see a play, two left, two right, two through the middle. I just don't see it. I don't see Liverpool having a backup for Mo Salah either. I just don't ever see that happening. So, as you said, I think Darwin will stay for another year. Gakpo, I think with that Dutch connection with as well, plus him being a little newer than Luis Diaz, I think stays. I do think the two that could go this summer are Diogo Jota and Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz, because of his market value and how much you could get for him right now, it makes financial sense. And then you get someone who could probably play that way. If you are playing a more narrow forward and you're having that overlapping fullback, someone who could probably do that a little bit better, a bit more pace, a bit more athleticism, better touch in front of goal. You could upgrade on Luis Diaz to that position, get good money for Luis Diaz. It makes sense financially. I just think with Jota, I wouldn't sell Jota, but my issue with it, his injuries are becoming probably an issue with the football club right now, because unfortunately for Jota, he's our best goal scorer. For me, out of everyone, he's our best goal scorer.
Yeah.
A completely fit Jota, for me, is 25 goals a season.
Yeah.
Are you going to get that from Jota? No, because unfortunately, his body breaks down, and the older he gets, he's not exactly going to get fitter, is he?
I'd be devastated if we lose Jota, but I couldn't sit here and go, the club are having a howler, because I'd understand it. Even if I wouldn't agree with it, I'd understand it. The problem then becomes, though, who do you go and get? Because the person you go and get has to be certified. So I'm talking about it's got to be someone of an ESAT quality, or can you go and get Harry Kane from Bayern Munich? Can you go and get him out of his contract at Bayern Munich? It's got to be someone, because you cannot be selling Jota and then selling to me Nunez and Jadon Danns are the two strikers, or it's got to be someone
that makes sense.
It's got to be someone who we all collectively as a fan base go, yeah, that's the person.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when WA says Jota and Salah, the only two that converted more than 15% of their chances.
Yeah.
And
I like Xerxes, for example, Joshua Xerxes.
Yeah,
And I
we
think
linked
he
with him.
could score more goals than he scored last season in our team. I don't know if he's a 25 a season striker. I think he's a striker who could help the team around him, but I don't know if he himself is a 25 goals a season striker. Whereas, as you said, if Jota fit, he is.
And look, Jota unfit scored as many goals as Darwin did. You know, it
Crazy,
just
isn't
I believe that Jota's conversion rate is without penalties is like the best in the Premier League or something like that.
Yeah,
I was
probably.
reading his conversion rate without penalties.
Him and Son, I think, are clear.
Yeah, it's just mad. I don't think there's many super clinical forwards in Europe at the moment either, to be absolutely honest. I think there's tremendous goal scorers that score 30 a season. I don't know if there's tremendously super clinical forwards in world football right now. I think you look at Isak's clinical. I think Isak will always score 19, 18, 19, 20 goals a season. I just don't know if he's a massive goal scorer, but he's clinical.
I think he's Liverpool's team, the way we create chances.
He'd probably score a bit more. Yeah. And if you look at him at his, is it Real Sociedad he was at before?
Yeah.
If you look at his Sociedad days, his GA weren't that fantastic. And then he goes to Newcastle and he hits, So I think there's talent out there. But you're saying with Darwin there, though, it's like, does anyone, I know there's Darwin fans, and I understand why there's Darwin fans as well, by the way. I do get it because I understand what you see in him. But the problem is he's got 20 Premier League goals in 2 seasons, yeah? Does anyone expect him to get... I think next season he has to score 20 Premier League goals, at least, a minimum. A minimum of 20 Premier League goals. I don't think there's an excuse for him not to, Cal.
Yeah, in my opinion, I agree. And
if he's not doing that, if he's still and we let Jota go, then who do we buy?
Screw. This is my point.
Who do we buy? Because you're not probably going to buy a striker that's because you've got Darwin there as an 85 million euro striker. That's obviously going to be your first choice. So, and if you're not selling him and you don't want to upset him too much, you're probably not buying an out and that 9. So you're looking for a wide player who can play this sort of narrow, wide striker role that he's looking to get the goals. And who's out there?
So I'm saying I don't know. Unless you go crazy and try and get someone like a Musiala, but again, Musiala is more of a creator than a goal scorer.
Yeah, he's not a massive goal scorer.
Elise, again, everyone knows my first choice for right wing is Elise. Kudus, I don't think is achievable this summer. I know everyone really wants Kudus, and Kudus is a fantastic player.
He's going to cost you 120 mil minimum.
It's not achievable. Everyone, he's got a release clause that doesn't get activated until next year.
And that's 85 million. So you feel what West Ham are going to want for him?
This summer, West Ham will want they can't sell Paqueta now because of the betting charges.
120. That's what it's going to cost.
Minimum 120 for Kudus. Yeah. However, that's probably what Newcastle would want for Isak as well.
Yeah, which I don't blame him. I mean, Isak especially was his third top goal scorer this season.
Yeah, well, Isak might be the actual person, Jay, who's got the goal to game ratio stuff.
Yeah, probably. But to buy Isak, if you bought Isak, so you went out and got Isak, you'd have to sell Darwin.
That's what I've said. That's what I'm saying. There's no point. Like Ivan Toney, if it's a shout.
Ivan Toney is a kind of similar.
By the way,
yeah, he's quite a similar footballer, don't you think, to what Darwin is now? In a way,
I think he's way more refined than Darwin. Technically, way better than him as well. I wonder if he's okay after coming away from football for the amount of time he was off.
Yeah, I don't. He came back for the first few games. It's all right, and then he looked terrible. And then
I know it's going to sound really harsh and shady. Toney for me is someone I'd sign this summer. If we're selling Jota, I'd sign Toney as a replacement. And then next season, I'd sell Nunez and bring in Isak. And then you'd have Toney and Isak. And Jadon Danns would be a year older as well.
Yeah. And this is my problem. I did a video a week or so back talking about how recruitment has messed up everything in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Because you look at our recruitment over the last few years, it's actually very difficult for us to buy anyone this summer. I know people might find this a mad statement, and it's not me protecting FSG or anything like that. It's actually very difficult for us to buy anyone this summer because of the players we got. You bought 4 midfielders in the summer. None of them are going to be leaving, I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah.
So, and then you got Curtis Jones. He probably ain't going nowhere. You got Harvey Elliott, who's definitely not going nowhere. That's 6. You got Tyler Morton, who might have to stay as a homegrown player. That's 7.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I don't. Then you got the defenders. You got 5 forwards at the moment. See, the recruitment over the last couple of years, we bought players at times that didn't make sense, or we didn't have a plan for. Like, I like Gravenberch. I think he's obviously a good footballer. I thought he played well for the Netherlands the other night. There's definitely something about him. He's a talent. But what was the plan for Gravenberch when we bought him?
Yeah, I don't think there was one.
Was there a plan, or did we just buy him for a number? You know, because he was attainable. Did we buy him just because he was attainable?
I almost think Gravenberch is a player that we probably shouldn't have bought. We should have probably bought a more combative midfielder. Big up promo. It should have been a more combative midfielder. Not to say Gravenberch ain't good, by the way. He's a very good, talented footballer.
Yeah, he is.
But I remember even at the time when we signed him, everyone was like, oh, how's Callum moaning about this? I wasn't moaning that we signed Gravenberch. I was moaning that we didn't sign a combative midfielder, because we needed a combative midfielder more than we needed a
way we play
flair type midfielder or an elegant midfielder. We needed someone combative in there. Even now, I'm looking at Gravenberch, I'm thinking, okay, if we played a 4-2-3-1 pivot, if you play in the pivot, you're not going to be second. You'll probably be third choice. And if you play as a number 10, you'll be third choice as well. And he's not a number 6. He's not a destroyer.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably play Gravenberch and double pivot if you got a destroyer next to him and you give him a little bit more freedom.
But he'd be the controller out of the two, right?
Yeah, and he's not a controller. He's a ball carrier.
And here's the thing. Does he start ahead of Trent, McAllister or Jones? In my opinion, no.
He doesn't even start in front of Harvey at the moment. Let's be real.
And that's my thing. So even when you're looking at the 10s, Salah, Elliott.
Szoboszlai.
I mean, I'd have Szoboszlai left wing if Diaz is sold.
Yeah.
So again, even when you're looking at the 10s, he's third choice 10 and he'd be third choice or even fourth choice in the pivot.
You know, when we was after a DM all last summer, we couldn't buy one for Edeltau, and obviously we know the story. We spent 53 million on Gravenberch and Endo at the end as desperation. Was there no one out there that cost 50 million as a DM that would have fitted into our team?
Well, we could have got Ugarte earlier on in the window.
And this is my problem with the recruitment. This is why I believe you need to have specialist sporting directors doing the job.
Yeah. Not
the managers anymore. It's just, you need... And you look at our squad, are we going to have a massive fire sale? Probably not. Because Slot's going to come to this team and go, look, I know I'm the head coach, so I haven't got... He's still got say. I think a lot of people don't think Slot's got any say, which is madness.
Yeah,
he's just like... He has say. He's just not the man doing the deals. A manager back in the day was the man doing the deals. He's managing the club, so he's doing everything. He's just not doing the deals. But he's got a say, and he's going to come to his team and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's no player here that I ever had at final in my career. You know, why would I let go of Gravenberch? I know Gravenberch. You know, I know Gakpo. You know, Szoboszlai. I've got Szoboszlai in this team. I've got McAllister. I've got these young youths in Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones. You know, what we're doing? Why would I want these gone? It makes no... I think this summer, I know a lot of people are going to go, right, oh, FSG have had a terrible summer and all that. Guys, really think about it. What can we actually do this summer that makes sense? Unless you have a massive fire sale, and I just don't think we're going to have a massive fire sale.
Yeah, this is why I'm so intrigued to see what we do this summer. And again, you even look at some of the youth players. Shout out to JD Activist. I know it's a really left field thing to say. who's to say Jayden Danns isn't actually ready?
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised Dan's didn't play the
Massive
last
risk.
couple of games.
Don't get me wrong, massive risk. But who's to say he's not?
I'm surprised Dan didn't feature in the last couple of games.
Same. I was actually frustrated.
Nothing really to play for. We're safe. We're finished Champions League football. It was just let him play. Let's see what he's about. Because if Klopp wasn't leaving, he'd probably been thinking about changing Dan's next year as well because he likes playing the youth. He would have trusted him. So he'd want to have a look at him. And I think Slot, once he sees someone like Jayden Danns, I think Slot, because apparently he likes youth players and he likes producing youth players as well and developing their game. Once he looks at Jayden Danns, he's finishing. He ain't going nowhere, in my opinion.
You saw it straight away when he came on against Chelsea. Like, he almost scored a header in the cup final. And this is what I say when I speak about Nunez. I look at the difference between him in front of goal and Jayden Danns in front of goal. It's night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day.
He's just born with an act to finish. Yeah. Some people have just got that. They know how to finish. You know, sometimes when you look at Darwin's finishing, he puts the ball in the back of the net, but does it look clean?
Yeah.
Does it look, when Jayden Danns does it, it looks clean, don't it? It looks like he could finish. Robbie Fowler used to say Robbie Fowler was so good at finishing, he put a blindfold on. He just put the ball in the corners, just knew what to do. And that's not us having a go at Darwin. Darwin's just not a natural finisher. He never will be. But he can still score goals. There's a lot of good strikers out there, guys, that are not natural finishers, but score plenty of goals. I wouldn't say Mo Salah's a natural goal scorer.
Just took the words out of my mouth. Neither is Sadio Mane.
No, but they score goals.
Yeah.
So Darwin can still score goals. It's just not natural at it. And that's not a thing to, not a horrible thing to say. Big out Joe, the Super Chat says Graham Birch will be our 10 at the end of next year. I mean, he could definitely play there. There's no doubt about it. The problem is though, when Klopp bought him, Klopp weren't thinking about leaving. So what was he going to do with Gravenberch the year after?
One thing I will say, if Slot comes in and doesn't have the approach of I've got favourites, I think we'll be in a healthy position because the players will get plenty of minutes of rotation. So when it comes to March and April and May, when we usually start to, look fatigued, we should all be fresh.
Yeah.
That's when we could be sitting there going some masterstroke, having so many players.
Yeah.
But if he does have his favourites, then we're going to have a lot of players who sit there going, what am I here for?
Yeah, it's a mad one. Jay, big up again, says Dan was a futsal player. Darwin was a street ball. Yeah, I can see that.
I don't think Darwin is a street baller.
I don't know. There is,
and I don't see that. I don't say that in a rude way, but you see, when I think of street baller, I think of someone like St. Maximum or someone who's just got stupidly good dribbling and
I get what you're saying.
Techie. Darwin's not. Darwin's a powerhouse. He's a powerhouse. He's someone that can get on the pitch and he can overwhelm you with his power and pace. He's not a street baller for me.
Yeah. Look, Cal's got to go, but there's nothing. Look, we want all these players to do well. We want nothing would be happier for me and Cal to see Darwin scoring 30 goals a season.
Trust me.
We'll be sitting there going, great, we were wrong. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
That's what we all want in life, guys. But Cal, thank you for coming on for a bit. I do appreciate it.
Smash the like, people. Smash the like, people. Jay, we'll catch up as always, my bro.
Yeah. Talk soon, man.
Take care.
See you later, man. Yeah, Grav as a 10 would. Yeah. I think Gravenberch has definitely got a future. For me, I can see more of a future for him if we play the double pivot. If we do, Slot has been known to play it in his time in Dutch football, but he's also been playing 4-3-3 quite a lot. So it's going to be interesting, definitely. But I just worry about someone like Gravenberch. I don't know quite where it fits just yet. But it's Luis Diaz stuff. Look, I don't want to get on at Luis Diaz anymore. I just feel like he's 27. Is he going to get much better than he is right now? If not, and Liverpool can get a good bid for him, a good deal for him, and someone comes in with 65, 70 million quid for Luis Diaz, you have to take it. You just do. And if you can take that money and run with it, go for it. I just don't know how much he's going to improve. There's players out there who probably suit us a little bit better right now. So that's an interesting one. The DM position, I know this is a position I feel like would change Liverpool's whole team next season. Now, I love Wataru Endo as much as you guys know this. I love Wataru Endo. I think he came in and done a really good job at Liverpool in his first season. He had some ups, he had some downs. But as a first season in the Premier League at 30 years of age, I don't think it was a bad season, to be fair. I mean, 30 years of age, played in the Premier League, played lower German teams. I think he did all right. Now, can you upgrade on Wataru Endo? Of course you can. I'll keep Wataru in the squad. I think Wataru has to stay in the squad because at this moment in time, for me, he's our only defensive midfielder. I know a lot of people talk about Stefan Bajcetic, but for me, for Stefan, I don't think he's an out-and-out DM. I think he can play further up the field. I think he can play in the 8 and a bit further up. I don't see him as an out-and-out DM like I do with Wataru right now. So for me, Wataru Endo right now is our only DM in the team. I think Liverpool just need to go out and get their DM. If Liverpool can go out and get a defensive midfielder, I think it changes the way we look, the way we play, changes our setup, it changes our dynamic. We've been linked with Ederson from Atalanta, of course. I think some reports have now been quite positive about that, saying that we spoke to his agent. There's no deal or anything like that or anything in the works, but Liverpool have definitely spoken and looked at, Ederson from Atalanta. Now, if you brought him in, say, and you played him alongside McAllister in a double pivot, you free up a Szoboszlai who could play a bit further forward, Harvey Elliott, and you got Wataru and you got Stefan waiting in the wings in the squad. It makes the midfield a lot different. It changes the dynamic of our team straight away, gives us a bit more of a defensive structure. My problem with the DM position, though, this is my problem with the whole defensive midfield position right now. There ain't a lot of great defensive midfielders because a lot of people that think are defensive midfielders are not really defensive midfielders. I always say this about Declan Rice. Declan Rice is not a DM. He's just a very, very good box-to-box midfielder that has great defensive awareness and good positional play. And because of that, he can play that role. But I wouldn't call him an out-and-out DM. Now, what did Liverpool go for? I think we're coming into a time in football where a lot of teams are looking for that more deep line playmaker, almost like a number 10 at the 6th position. They're looking for more deep line playmakers. They're not always looking for an out-and-out destroyer like Caoimhin and Tchouaméni when they played DM for Real Madrid, or a Toni Kroos who plays DM for Real Madrid. I wouldn't call them defensive midfielders. I wouldn't call them out-and-out DMs because they're very good on the ball. They can create from that deeper position. They can move forward with the ball. They can play further up the field. They're not an out-and-out all-round DMs. I think teams are starting to look at that role where you're getting a midfielder who's great at everything, sort of ticks all the boxes. You look at Rodri. Rodri's he's got great defensive instincts. He's got great ability to be in the right position on the pitch. He's got, he can get forward. He can score goals. He's got a good pass in him. He's an all-round quality, world-class midfielder. Declan Rice, an all-round quality midfielder. Maybe Liverpool looking something for like that. Because if you actually look at Ederson for Atalanta, I've been watching a bit of Ederson's games for Atalanta. I've been watching a few of his clips and stuff like that. And he is not a DM that everyone thinks he is. He gets forward. He gets goals. He likes to join in the play, in the attacking phases. He likes to join in on attacking phases of play. He drifts out wide. But he's got good, he's got good defensive awareness. So he can he can sit back and defend as well, but he can also join in the attacking phase of play. So are Liverpool looking for something like that? A lot of midfielders looking for something. Like a lot of teams looking for that kind of role now. I remember everyone used to rave about Basuma. You know, Basuma's dog shit. You know, I don't think he's that great. You know, Paulinho's probably going to Bayern Munich. I don't think he's that great. I think he gets caught out of position a heck of a lot, and that's why he gets a lot of yellow cards, because he's out of position a lot. He's very late to tackles a lot of the time. I know a lot of Liverpool fans kept saying that Wataru Endo picked up a lot of yellow cards this season. And they always said he picked up yellow cards this season because he hasn't got the pace and he's out of position quite a lot. And that's why he gets caught on yellow cards. Same with Paulinho, man. Same with Paulinho. He gets caught out of position far too much, and that's why he gets yellow card. And he hasn't got that quickness to cover ground like he used to. You know, once you lose that pace as a DM as well, it does hurt you. You look at Fabinho. You know, Fab was never quick, but his mind was. And as when that went, he started being out of position a lot. Look at Paulinho this season, I think, out of position a lot for Fulham. I don't think Paulinho... Could you imagine Paulinho in a Liverpool team where we open up the play, guys? That's the thing as well. Can you imagine Paulinho at Liverpool last season where we completely open up the play and we have an inverted fullback who don't defend, and we leave our defenders playing one-on-one defending with all that open space in behind? Paulinho would have got murdered. He would have got murdered. He wouldn't have helped. And this is my thing about the defensive part of play. I think a lot of it is structural. I think a lot of stuff, defending from the midfield, a lot of it is your structure and the way you set up. Now, Liverpool play under Jurgen Klopp the last few years, play very risky football. So we're very entertaining to watch in the neutral because we play a basketball game. We're box to box, you know, end to end football. Yeah. If you play end to end football, box to box football with possession, and you play high up and you don't press, because if you're playing high up, you need to press and you need to keep that possession. And if you don't do that, you're going to have so much open space in behind. And Liverpool playing that box to box way, there's no real defensive structure playing that way. None. I feel like if you get a good player there, like an Edison, who can read the game and he's got good movement, he can join in the attacks, he can defend, and you put a structure in the team and a better defensive structure in the team, I think we concede less chances and we look like a better team straight away. Sometimes I think we play too quick. You know, I think we play far, far too quick at times. I think sometimes we need to slow our game down. You know, we go from box to box too quickly at times. We need to slow it down a little bit. You know, our defensive structure, so the centre backs are here and the midfield is like over here, and our fullbacks wandering everywhere, and that's why we can see chance after chance after chance. So I do think I do think the DM position is very important for Liverpool next season, and we need to get the right player in. You know, we need to get the right player in. Now, if it's Edison, I'm happy with that because I said he's mobile, he defends well, he also can join in attacks in the final third as well. He can drift wide, he can get goals, he can thread balls through the final third. He's a good footballer. He's a very good footballer, and that would improve us straight away. And, you know, Wataru Endo in the squad at the same time, if you want to play a more defensive game, you got two DMs in the team. You got Stefan there as well. Changes the structure of our side immediately. I personally think that it's the most important position we got to sort out this summer. I don't know how you guys feel. I just feel like get that DM in and then get a centre back in. I don't think we have to do a lot of business. I don't think we're going to do a lot of business. We've got so many players to get rid of. You know, people just go mad. I can see the headlines now. Liverpool only buy 3 players. Everyone's going to go, FSG being tight again. But where do you put all these players? Like, literally, where do you put all these players? You bought 4 new midfielders in the summer last year. They're all going to play. You got Curtis Jones, you got Harvey Elliott. People don't want them to go, so they're still going to play. That's 6. You know, Tyler Morton probably come in still. I just don't know where everyone is going to play. That's 7 midfielders. We play with 3. If we go by a DM, that's 8 midfielders. That's enough. Got 5 forwards. Centre back and a left back's desperately needed. I'm literally, if we get a centre back, a DM, and an attacker, if that's our summer window, and we keep the majority of the squad and just let a few of them go that should be going, like a Simicast or a Robbo, if one of them go, we let some of the kids go out on loan, just thin it down a little bit. I'm perfectly fine with it, guys. I really am perfectly fine with it. But I know a lot of people will go be like, why are we ain't getting 6 or 7 players? People go, oh, it's tight. Because people just don't understand. People literally don't understand. You've got a new manager coming in. And you've got to get players that suit a structure. People want us to spend like Chelsea. Chelsea spend money on players and then just expect a manager to sort it out. That's what they do. That's why they've gone through so many managers since Clear Lake and Todd Bowley took over. They just buy players and expect a manager to sort it out. So there's no structure to the club. You got Man United. Look at the mess of Man United right now. They've got 2 owners, Ineos and the Glazers. The Glazers have the majority of the football club, but they're letting Ineos, who have the minority, run the football club. What club do you know lets the minority stakeholder run the football club? And they're keeping Ten Hag, who no Man United fan wants. Is it all bad at Liverpool? I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a mad thing. I don't think it's a mad thing. I really don't. Just free. If we're getting a centre back in, a DM and an attacker, I think the majority of the fan base are pretty good with that. I really do. You keep the majority of what you got. You add them 3 to it. That's what I keep saying. Like, if the DM comes in, I think the DM will. If it's a really good, like what people class as a defensive midfielder, and you put them in this midfield, it changes our midfield overnight. Literally changes our midfield overnight. You put more of a defensive structure in the way we play, straight away we look like a totally different team. Now, the left-back situation is an interesting one. Robbo keeps getting little injuries. He is, I believe, 30 years of age now. Keeps getting little injuries. Simicast, never been really trusted since he's been at Liverpool. There's been a lot of interest for Simicast from other European sides this summer already. I wouldn't mind getting a centre-back who can play left-back, like an Inakape or something like that. A centre-back who can play in the left-back role. If you look at Arsenal, Man City, and Real Madrid as well, they almost play with 3 centre-backs in a back 4. You look at City, Gabriel, 2 centre-backs, and then Walker as the right back. You look at Arsenal, they play Ben White as a centre-back. They play him right back and then 2 centre-backs. So you got a bit more defensive structure there. So we're going to do something like that. I'll be fine with that if you get a centre-back who's left-footed, who can play left-back, and you've got a future player there who can take over Virgil eventually or something like that. I'll be fine with that bit of business as well. Big up Glasgow Reds in the house. Big up John. How you doing, well, man? Yeah. It's big up Max. Hope you do well. Big up JD Activist. It'd be interesting. So yeah, I'm happy with only 3 players coming in. As I said, we've got a big squad, a lot of players there. It's hard to fit in low. Like, I don't expect anyone to buy 6 or 7 players. We've got a new manager in. Yeah, big up, John. I've got a call-in show coming up probably this week, John. So get on that, mate. Endo could play left back. He did it in Germany. He did. I just feel like I'd want to get a proper centre back who could play left back there. Yeah, look, I keep saying we've got a lot of midfielders. Unless you're selling unless everyone's having a fire sale, I don't know where we're going to buy all these players from. Now, the goalkeeping situation is an interesting one. So obviously, Caoimhin Kelleher has said that he wouldn't mind leaving if he was going to and becoming a number one somewhere. The problem is Liverpool are not going to sell him for what they think cheap. They want between 25 and 30 million for Kelleher. And if you're looking at players that are going around at the moment, I don't know if you guys know, you know that John Duran who plays for Aston Villa? Has everyone heard the breaking news? So that, you know that John Duran who played for Aston Villa, Chelsea are trying to buy him for 50 million. 50 million. I think his name's John Duran, is it? Who plays for Aston Villa? Scored 2 goals against us at the end of the season. Yeah, Chelsea are apparently buying him for 50 million. 50 million. It's absolutely mad. It's absolutely mad. And people were saying we can't get 25 million for Kelleher. It's just, I don't get it. If someone wants Kelleher, come and get him. He's there to be got, but you got to pay the right money, man. You know, you got to pay the right money. If you want Kelleher, 25 to 30 million is what it's going to cost. And don't sell him cheaper. If he don't get sold, he stays as number 2. And I think you have Jaros as number 3 because it looks like Adrian's off. No, it looks like he's going to Real Betis. So you have Jaros as your number 3, Kelleher as your number 2, and Alisson is your number 1. And just keep it like that if Kelleher don't leave. If Kelleher does leave, then Liverpool need to go and get a goalkeeper. I know Liverpool have been looking at James Trafford. That would cost around the 20 million mark. So basically, whatever Kelleher sold for, you just replace that with James Trafford. So easy deal. Makes sense. James Trafford then takes a homegrown spot. You got him and Jaros to fight out for your number 2. Alisson your number 1. I hear it. It makes sense. But that's if Kelleher leaves. That's if Caoimhin Kelleher leaves. Yeah, if James Trafford, he comes in, he fights out number 2 or 3. Oh, is it agreed terms with Newcastle? Well, then forget about it then. If he's agreed terms with Newcastle, then forget about it then. I mean, you promote Jaros to number 2. I mean, Jaros is going to the Euros with the Czech Republic. He's going to be the Czech Republic number 2, I believe. He's going to be a future number 1 for the Czechs. I got no problem with Jaros being number 2. I think he's the only goalkeeper at Liverpool right now that the club believe in. So Peter Luger, the club don't believe in Peter Luger. Peter Luger got loaned to Macclesfield. They don't believe in him. Harvey Davis, club probably don't think he's ready. So Jaros at the academy is the one that makes sense to me. The winger situation. The winger situation is an interesting one. We mentioned it loads. Who do we buy? People talk about Elise, Eze, Kudos. I think Elise will go to Chelsea. Personally, I think Elise will go chase at Chelsea, and I think Eze will go to Tottenham. I think Eze and Elise go to Tottenham. Elise is not coming to Liverpool and being Salah's backup. It ain't happening. It's just not happening, guys. Elise is not coming to Liverpool and being Mo Salah's backup. It's not a chance in hell. Stay at Crystal Palace. If that's your offer, if that's your choice, go to Liverpool and be back up with Mo Salah. I'd stay at Crystal Palace, man. They're doing well at the moment. Stay at Crystal Palace. But I think he's going to go to Chelsea. Eze, I think Eze can play in the 10 and the 8 personally more than the wing. And I think I wouldn't be shocked if Eze goes to Tottenham. But I didn't realise, I think Eze's 26 and he's had bad injuries. So I like Eze. I think Eze's a better footballer than Elise. But I think Eze's 26, Elise's 22. And with Eze's injuries, I wouldn't touch him. Elise's not going to play second fiddle to Mo Salah. So them 2 are out. Kudos is going to cost you over 100 million. Because Kudos's buyout clause is 85 million next summer. Summer 2025 is 85 million. So West Ham are going to go selling for more than the buyout if they sell him this summer. So you're looking at probably 100 million for Kudus. So no one's going to touch Kudus. So it's Kudus out. It's Elise out. Eze out. Who does that leave? Not many. You got Johan Bakayoko at PSV. People are talking about, and you got Somerville at Leeds. Now, obviously, we've heard things that Somerville won't go. I just, Liverpool turned it. I don't know. Somerville to Liverpool just makes sense to me. I know it's not what people want, but I think it's 140 of us in the chat. Big up. I think most of us will sit here and go, at least Somerville or Liverpool just makes sense. Even though we don't want it, none of us want it. Some of us might, but it just sort of makes sense. Big up, Echo. Big up from New Zealand. Big up to you, man. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining. Guys, don't forget, if you're new around here, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share. Yeah, we're going on quite late tonight, so big up to everyone who's tuned in. I do appreciate it. Yeah, you fit Fofana. Yes, for Monaco. So obviously Fofana is apparently leaving Monaco this summer. He's got a year left in his contract, I believe. And the asking price is only 25 to 30 million for him. Now, that's a pick-me-up if I've ever seen one. It'd be interesting. I think Liverpool go buy. Yeah, Jay, I think Somerville's a good player, man. I think there is something good about Somerville. I just think I'd rather someone just a little bit a level above Somerville if I'm going to bring him in, if that makes sense. I think Somerville's a decent player. It's going to be interesting. I think we're going to buy players we're not being linked with. So everyone we've been linked with so far is, I think we won't buy. I think we're going to buy players we've not been linked with. I think, we're going to be sitting here one night in the summer. You go look at your social media, you go look at your Twitter, and David Ornstein has come out with an article saying, Liverpool are looking to get blah in, and they're close to doing a deal, and it's just a medical needs to be done. And we've never been linked with him all summer. I think that's the way it's going to go down personally. And the Euros is going to be massive as well. Yeah, Xavi Simons would be good. I think Xavi Simons, he needs a club by the look of it. Fofana, I think going to AC Milan. I just read somewhere. I think he might be going to AC Milan. Edison's more box in 60 years, but so are a lot of sixes now. So are a lot of number sixes now, to be fair. This is what we were speaking about earlier. You look at Declan Rice. I'd say Declan Rice is more box to box, but he can do that defensive job. I think if you look at, Camavinga, I'd say Camavinga's more box to box, does that defensive job. It's the way I think we're going with DMs. I think that old school version of a defensive midfielder is really slowly going out the game, and more people are interested in it. Look, Ugarte, who's a proper DM, got taken out of the team for Fofana. Yeah, Fofana, is it Fofana? Is that how you pronounce his name? He took Ugarte's spot. Yeah. And now PSG want to get rid of Ugarte. And Fofana took his spot. Ugarte's a more DM, a more defensive-minded player. But Fofana is more, he can do the DM role, but he's more box spots. He joins in the attacking third. He's got a good shot at him, good range of passing. So even PSG looked at him and went, you know what? He will do more for me in that deep line playmaking position than Ugarte will right now. And I think that's the way everyone's looking at things right now. Yeah, I literally think that's the way people are looking at it right now. Like, he took Ugarte's spot, man. I think that's the new version of the six we're going to be looking at. I really do. It's going to be interesting, guys. It's going to be so madly interesting. But look, guys, I'm going to leave it there because it is bloody late. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about Trent Alexander-Arnold and Virgil van Dijk tomorrow. So There's some interesting news coming out about Trent and Virgil that I think we need to talk about. So I'll be back tomorrow talking about Trent and Virgil. Big up to all you guys. Thank you very much for joining me on this late hour. I do appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 6K. I would appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. Try and get to 100 likes. There's 140 people in here watching at like 1:30 in the morning. So I do appreciate you all. Thank you very much. If you could hit that like button, try and get to 100 likes. That would be amazing. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow talking about the Virgil and Trent news, and we'll have a convo about that tomorrow. For everyone watching, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.